Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. We're coming up to a big anniversary in my life. When I was 16 years old, I quit drinking soda. My parents have been trying to get me to quit drinking soda or cut back on soda for years at this point. When I was 13, 14, 15 years old. One time we had taken a trip to Taiwan and I had begged my mom for some soda. In Taiwan, soda is considerably expensive, and I think we ended up buying a 1 liter bottle for about 100 Taiwanese dollars, about 3, 4 US, which is considerably expensive. And you got to remember, at the time, Taiwan's GDP was considerably lower than that of the US. I don't know if that's true anymore. So, for the typical Taiwanese person in Taiwan, soda was very expensive at the time. I don't think it's so expensive today, and also the gap between their incomes is not as high anymore. But I had gone back to my grandfather's home and I had guzzled it down. My mom was so upset. I don't think she was necessarily upset at the money. She used the money as a teaching tool. You know, that it's really expensive. Don't guzzle it all at once. I think she was more upset that we had traveled all the way to see my grandparents and all I wanted to drink was soda. Now, I've never had any success cutting back on soda. I do have success with quitting it altogether. My parents never seemed to understand that concept, though. After I quit drinking soda, my parents accused me of ruining the family dynamics because we couldn't enjoy soda together. I gotta point out something. 200 years ago, before soda was ever invented, people had good family lives. I think a lot of people lose that concept. Even to this day, sometimes I overhear when I was working at Glendale Community College, a lot of people took nutrition class and they were like, don't cut out entire foods in your life. You're going to develop eating disorders. I got to point out something. Nobody in their right mind drinks bleach. Nobody in their right mind eats, I don't know, wood. So is cutting those things out of your life, is that going to create an eating disorder where you're going to crave bleach all the time, right? Just think, right? Don't just blindly listen to everything, right? Anyway, it's a big anniversary because I like to measure time in a different way. So someday humans will leave the earth altogether, and so our years and our days won't be the same anymore. So I prefer to use universal units of time. So one of my favorites is 138.376 days because that's the half life of polonium 210. I affectionately call that a Curie year. But for longer periods of time, the half life of lead 210 is 22.2 years. I call that a Curie generation. And so it has been one Curie generation since I quit drinking soda, if you could believe that. But I love using the Curry year because it's short. And if I make goals for the next Curry year, right, we had a new year on, what was it, late July this year. We had a new year, 336, and I made a few goals. And I could check in on myself more often, but it's not so short that it's easy to put it off. Oh, I'll do it next year, right? If I made the year a month, it's very easy. I'll think about my goals next month when I'm not so stressed, right? So the Curry year is perfect for making goals, and it's short enough that you can do things for that long, right? So, for example, you guys know that I've been dating a girl in Taiwan. We're just about to celebrate a two Curry year anniversary. And if I make it to two Curry years, there aren't that many relationships in my life that I've made it up to two Curry years, right? I think this will only be only the fifth one if I make it. So that's a Curry year, and then there's the Curry generation. And then there's longer time measurements. The Curie millennium is the half-life of radium-226, 1,596 years, right? And then beyond that, there's the short there's a short Curie eon and a long Curie eon. The short one is the half-life of uranium-235, which is 700 million years, and then the long Curie eon is the half-life of uranium-238, which is 4.5 billion years. Usually, I use them to quantify, really long. I love AI, right? Sometimes I write computer programs that will take a long time to churn out as a starting point, and then I try to optimize it. I sometimes say, "Wow, this will take like either a short Curie eon or a long Curie eon." And if it's even more extreme, there's also the Curie eternity, which is the half-life of bismuth 209, which is 2.01 times 10 to the 19 years. Sometimes when I write AI that takes a long time to run, I will quote it as, is it an eternity or just an eon, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum, 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 bum.